chain currently and what's to be expected in the future. I do have a question. I apologize, my voice is a little raspy, and I hope it translates well through the earpiece, or it's easier to translate. So I have a question for the audience. Who here owns a pair of jeans? Who here has purchased those jeans for at least 200 US or 210 euro? That's 0 people. It's a very niche market, but it's the market that I want to focus on first, and that is the premium market. In the United States, the premium market is an average price point of about $200. That's USD. Premium really has declined significantly since the global recession in 2008. But 96% of U.S. consumers own at least 7 pairs of jeans. Not necessarily the premium, but there's a lot more consumption of the product in the United States, at least. So premium, as it was defined in 2005, 2006, and 10 years, 15 years before that, really meant that the product was manufactured, the fabrication was manufactured in Japan, was one of the most popular, still is today one of the most popular, Turkey, Italy, and then the final garment was actually manufactured in the United States. The premium market represents about $2 billion, and and the denim jeans market represents $60 billion in totality. This is just a map of the United States, pointing out California as the origin of the manufacturing for this premium denim. Premium, when it was defined, was really a marketing platform to have increased margin, and there was no responsibility sustainably. It was only for the brands to make 80% margin on the garment, and shipping to Europe was a big thing for the premium market until I think 2013, when the EU put a 38% tariff on United States manufactured jeans shipping to Europe. So that really also hurt the premium market. But really, it was a heavy marketing campaign, just as you see Coke and Pepsi battling it out here. So speaking on behalf of the global recession, that really impacted consumption of this premium jean, which then led to where we are currently. Currently, price is the driving force for consumption of denim. The brands in the marketplace that are really succeeding are, Zara, Old Navy, simply for the fact that they manufacture a denim at a very, very low price point. Excuse me. I do believe that the industry is actually becoming and getting better, due to differentiation in product offering, and that differentiation is not just the origin, the manufacturing location. It is actually due to performance and the diversity of the product offering. I believe that there's a particular demographic that is driving the need for a marketing story, a performance story, and higher quality goods, and that is the Millennial Generation. They're also really focused on promoting the components or looking for the components of fabrications that are they're supporting healthy environmental practices. So to speak on behalf of the millennials, I'd like to help define, for those of you who do not know, that is the generation of individuals born between 1980 and 2000. It is actually the fastest growing generation in the business sector. Believe it or not, whether you like it or not, we'll have to work eventually. Just to move on here, to kind of go deeper into this youth movement in the workforce and in product consumption, I'd like to talk about some of the platforms that the youth are using to vocalize their opinions, and we all know that as social media. Social media is a major area of communication between the brands and the actual consumer of the product. If you think about Facebook, actually 1.5 billion people use Facebook. About 200 million use Instagram, and about 300 use Twitter. How many people in here use Twitter? Okay. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that this demographic, the millennial generation, is necessarily environmentalist, but they're definitely conscious of things that are going on in the environment. Definitely in food consumption, you see, that they're much more abreast to what they're, digesting. But they are definitely looking for brands who are working to, provide sustainable products that are conscious of global warming. Whether they know the true statistics or the realities of these components, they're still looking for those buzzwords. This is me dreaming as a young child about just playing soccer instead of developing textiles. But as of 2016, millennials make up about a third of the global workforce. By 2020, this same generation will represent half of the workforce. And once again, the millennial generation is looking for organizations to work for that are supporting sustainability. So millennial consumers, with that global recession, at least in the United States, the average income after graduating from a university is around $34,000, almost $35,000. It's the lowest pay since 1998, and the average debt post-college graduation is about $30,000. So disposable income is also going to impact, the buying decision, and it's going to make that consumer more cognizant of the dollar that it spends. 3/4 of the millennial generation, 75%, researches the product online pre-consumption. So just to kind of talk about that pre-consumption, I want to talk about the way millennials buy and consider buying product. One, online is a major component of consuming apparel. Social media influence, online reviews. I mentioned this Kickstarter, and specifically a brand called Gustin, which is an online brand that allows you to actually invest in an idea, a fabric, a silhouette, and then if they get enough people to cover the cost of the manufacturing, they will produce that particular garment or silhouette. Also, shop and store and ship to home. There's a lot of brands in the United States that are a brick and mortar retail store that you go in, you get fitted, and then from there on out, if you don't gain weight, they ship clothing monthly or throughout the year. So I just want to talk about a little bit, in regards of the scope of dollar amount of the global fashion industry. It's a $1.2 trillion industry. In the United States, the fashion industry represents about $250 billion. And these are, some of the areas in which, certain processes happen. So this is the current life cycle, or the current manufacturing process of denim. So you have cotton production, you have fabric production, garment manufacturing, you have the transportation, you have distribution, consumption, consumer maintenance, post-maintenance, and end of life. Now Levi's did a study, one more. This is actually the process in which denim or indigo-based fabric yarns are dyed. I'm not sure if anybody's ever seen this process, but this is actually cotton yarns, rope dyed, running through dye baths. And as you see the transition in color, as the cotton dips and then comes up and is exposed to oxygen, it changes into that bluer shade. So just to talk about the life cycle analysis done by Levi's, they took several categories in the life cycle process and basically labeled or outlined the components that were the most harmful in the process. I'm not sure if this will be a positive thing or a negative thing for the group, but they say that fiber production, and predominantly cotton fiber production, is one of the major components of the manufacturing process that harms the environment, and that is due to the consumption of water. I'm just going to go ahead and skip these guys just for the sake of time here. So here's here's cotton production, and just describing in a pie chart each process, and they're saying that 68% of the manufacturing of cotton is uses the most water consumption. So I think one of the biggest things in the marketplace is sustainability and what it really means. 51% of shoppers say that sustainability refers to the durability or the longevity of the product. 14% are unclear of even the definition. And 50% of consumers think that clothing imported from other countries is less eco-friendly than clothing made in the United States. So thank you to Cotton Inc. here. I kind of use some of their information. But there is an upward trend of interest in sustainability in apparel. You have, consumers that are concerned that has actually declined, but people that are active in sustainability has grown. Actually, 52% of consumers say that they would like to support manufacturers that make products from renewable sources, or they like to support brands that 78% say they like to use recycled product. here. So really, the point of all of that, pre-information is, what is the future? I don't know if you know Back to the Future, but this is the DeLorean. So I believe that there is a new definition for premium. Premium is no longer about the country of origin. It's no longer about that it's manufactured in a certain place. It's about doing the right thing socially, environmentally, and looking out for future generations. There are lots of things that exist in the manufacturing process that really are not articulated to the end consumer. I really think that, in the redefinition or the redefining of the premium jean, we need to look at the supply chain and be totally honest with the consumer about what is really going on. We need to talk about, water consumption. We need to talk about, dye methods. We need to talk about, recycling fibers, or what fibers are not necessarily, beneficial as you manufacture. And then we also, I believe, need to support local economies. So just to talk about fibers in the denim world, in 2010, the market share of cotton to poly was 50-50. It's estimated that by 2020, the market share would be 35 cotton and 65 polyester. Now, earlier we saw a slide about cotton versus polyester, but I actually believe that there are other fibers that are actually taking away from cotton also, and those are fibers like Tencel, Model, ProModel. There's performance fibers like T400, which is actually an ester-based fiber. There is, functional fibers like Silient, that is a temperature regulator. Dyneema, which is a very durable performance fiber. And, these are also, risks to the cotton world. And it is proven in sales that the consumer wants these types of fibers. They want the story, they want the hand feel, they want the softness. So it's not just an opinion. So I have a couple seconds, but I wanted to highlight, how did you play the video? Yeah. Can you play the video?
Can we have the video at the back, please?
Thank you.
We've heard it before. This is business as usual. This is how you make a pair of jeans. Don't try to change it. Accept it, because denim is filthy business. But the soul of denim has always been about change. Denim is for the folks that ask the tough questions. Blue jeans are about powerful words, backed by action. About taking a stand, finding new paths, new directions, and new solutions. We've rethought the entire process. Our jeans are made with 100% organic cotton and fair trade sewing. With a new dye process that uses 84% less water, 30% less energy, and produces 25% less CO2. We're making jeans that are clean, but still have soul. We're taking the lead, putting them on, buttoning them up, and getting it done. Because denim is filthy business, we are changing it.
So Patagonia is one of the many brands that are contributing in the efforts to make a sustainable product by still attaining visually the authenticity of denim. This is a look at the supply chain and and some of the things that are happening outside of just fiber interest. If you look at dye stuffs, our chroma, which is actually used on the Patagonia jean, is actually a sustainable dye stuff. As they mentioned in the video, it uses 84% less water consumption. If you looked at, if you remember the indigo dyeing, this is actually just one dip in the dye bath. So the process is shorter, you're using less energy, and then you have an eco-friendly dye. If you look at machinery, washing is a big thing in the denim world. Everybody wants that vintage, that worn-in look. And G2 is G2 waterless machine washing is actually done by a brand by the name of Genealogia, and it's an Italian brand. And actually, they can age the garment by putting together. They blend oxygen and to the ozone, which is in return plasma, and that actually gives it a yellowing effect. There's also lasers that can give that wear pattern. Talk about fiber regeneration. Serona, Reprieve. Reprieve is actually a recycled polyester, which is not something that we all want to hear, but it's it's interesting to the consumer, to the brands, to the designers. There are buyback programs in the denim world that, like APC, which is a French denim brand, they actually buy back the jean that you've worn and then recycle the garment. And then there's, organic farming, and my big thing is, transparency in the entire process, because there are things that exist that need to be marketed, just like old premium did. There's a place for us to to stand up against, non-eco-friendly activities, and it just needs to be vocalized in the correct way. It's a little bit about fast fashion, but just to mention again a couple of the brands that are doing things on the sustainability forefront. Patagonia, we saw the video. Eileen Fisher only uses organic farms. H&M, G-Star, they actually use a yarn by the name of, it's a bionic yarn. They take all of the polyester out of the middle of the sea, and then actually reuse, recycle, and then use that back into the product offering. So really, to conclude it, premium is redefined. It's redefined by being socially responsible, by doing the right thing, by offering a product that is right for the environment and matches what the consumer is asking for. And I think that in terms of this conference, educating, becoming one and educating, directly to the consumer, the youth of the corporations that are actually making the first decision in selecting the fabrications, is a really, really productive way to, have them for the next 10, 15, 20 years, as they move along in their careers. So again, thank you, and I hope that the denim world was a little bit interesting for you all.
Tyler, many thanks.